Most people spend their lives trying to make it easier. But what if the easier path actually makes a harder life? Today, in this video entitled The Choice That Separates Growth from Regret, I'm speaking with you about why consciously choosing challenge is one of the greatest gifts we can ever give ourselves, and why an ancient story about Hercules still matters today. Here are three keys that, if you take them, if you use them, I promise, they will unlock myriad and magical blessings in your life. The first key, the avoidance tax. Tax as in TAX. I'll show you what I mean. Many years ago, I was living at this radical therapy center. And one of the things that happened there every morning, this is the very first time I was there, every morning, those of us that were participating in the program, would be awoken by the leaders. We never knew what time or how long we would have slept. It wasn't long, I'll tell you that much. We didn't sleep very long. They would awaken us and say, 5 minutes, be in the group room. Now, be in the group room also meant, guess what? We're going to be doing something really hard. Well, I thought it was hard. Some people didn't. Some people were like, yeah, cool, let's go, it's fun. It was what we were doing were meditations inspired by the Indian mystic Osho, Bhagwan Rajneesh. And these meditations were dynamic. There was one specifically called dynamic. They were all dynamic, though. They were all very physically active. And the center where I was, they had taken many of those and put a spin on them. So they were not only physically active, they were emotionally cathartic, like super intense, super challenging. And they were intentionally provocative. It's the kind of therapy, personal growth, that's sometimes known as perturbation, as in perturb. So every time we did these, it would perturb, it would poke, it would trigger stuff inside me, which of course was why I went, right? I knew that there was incredible growth available to me at the center. Nonetheless, here's what I did. In the morning, they would say 5 minutes until we go to group room. Okay, no, 5 minutes, be in the group room. And then what I would do is I'd get up, pretend like I was doing what everyone else was doing, going to be there, get up, go to the bathroom, and then just kind of quietly go back up to my bed space. We lived in this sort of dormitory thing. And subtly, I thought, crawl back under the blankets and hide. Not smart. On so many levels, it was not smart because, one, they would come find me. Right? And this didn't go on for too long. I learned it after a couple days. Though they would come find me after a little while. They would realize, like, hey, that dude's not here. What's going on with him? Somebody go look for him, right? And not smart because how restful do you think that extra 5, 10, 15 minutes was for me? Not, right? It's not like I was like, oh, I'm just going to blow it off and go back. That wouldn't have worked. I wasn't going back to sleep. I was laying there in the, I should be there, and they're probably going to come get me, and that's why I came here, but I don't want to do it, and it's going to be hard. So as I speak that, it's the similar dialogue monologue that I hear. No, it is a dialogue because it's different parts of me. Similar dialogue that I hear these days still when I go into really cold water, just before I get in. Oh, I don't want to. It's going to be hard. Right. There was the added part component, which was they're going to come get me. So yes, they would come get me. What are you doing? Okay, well, I go. So I would end up doing it. And every time, wow, so glad I did this, right? Because that's one thing about catharsis, which is fantastic. And it's not the whole picture. And my own way of working with people has evolved since then. And catharsis is getting it out, right? Whatever's inside, especially what doesn't feel good. Cathart means to get it out of us, right? So I would stir that stuff up, poke, get triggered, and it would come out, and I would feel great, and I would move, and just like after crying or going for a run or something and sweating, we feel better afterwards. So what that was an avoidance tax, right? Because here's how it works. The thing that I thought I was avoiding, I'm going to hide here and not go do that thing. I still did it. I still did the thing. And then I added to it all the stress and debate that I had beforehand. Plus, not a good look. Like, oh, here's the guy that doesn't want to do it and he's hiding under his blanket. Mind you, I was a grown man at that point. I was, I don't know, late 20s or something like that. So the challenge with the avoidance tax is it drains our energy while we're avoiding it. And the nature of life is such that we can't really avoid it. All we can do is kick the can down the road. We're still going to deal with it. One of my favorite, simplest domestic examples of this that everybody can relate to, most everybody, is what happens after dinner with the dishes. I don't know how it is for you. Part of me doesn't want to do them. Like, I just ate, all my energy's going to digestion. I want to just kick back on the sofa. And what I've come to learn is that, one, the dishes, I'm going to do the dishes sooner or later, right? And if I do them the next morning, it's going to take more work, literally more work. There's a tax, it's added because now whatever's on the dishes is dried and stained. If I do the dishes right after dinner, even better, because it's going to be faster. Plus, every time I look at the sink, walk through the kitchen, what do I see? I see something clean, which to me feels much better. Not just to me, it feels better to all of us to see something done clean. And I'm not saying you have to do your dishes after dinner. I got a testimonial from a friend years ago. Testimonial, character reference, said he's the kind of dude that has the dishes done before the dinner's on the table. And that's not always true. And sometimes it's better to delay some of those things or use the washing machine. You get the point. Okay. So are you with me? Is it making sense to you so far? Avoidance tax is the first key. You've got it. If you use it, it'll open doors. Let's get to the second key, which is fire into freedom. Fire into freedom. And what that means is that if we take the step to consciously choose challenge, we take the energy that was resistance, avoidance, and it lights something inside us. We gain energy from it. Instead of paying a tax, we get a tailwind. There we go. Mix some metaphors for you. Instead of a headwind, we get a tailwind. Instead of a tax, we get a windfall. How this works? Well, let's honor the most important archetype and real live beings, mothers, in any species. What is bigger as a challenge? What is a more conscious challenge than getting pregnant? Right. On so many levels. And I know sometimes we could say that, well, I didn't choose to get pregnant. Well, anyway, sometimes pregnancies are accidental. Yes, okay, cool. In any case, pregnancies, just bear with me for this, pregnancies are a conscious choice for challenge, right? And leave aside so many of the other components and just look at the birth part, right? Now, male body here, I don't know what that's like. I can tell you this though, I was present for my daughter's birth, and I've spoken with a lot of mothers, and before my daughter's birth, I was so nervous about this process, and we were choosing to do a natural birth. I was so nervous about that. I must have read 20 books on natural childbirth and on midwifery. I learned a lot. So I can say with at least a little bit of understanding, it's really hard. It seems impossible. I mean, just think of it. A fetus, baby, right? About to come out, it's pretty big. I mean, not big, but pretty big. All right, enough with the hand gestures. The hole that it comes through is pretty small. That seems impossible. Like that's a challenge that's too big. And mothers consciously choose that. And part of them has 9 months to be under the blanket and think about it. Now, what helps them? If she could do it, I could do it. It's a natural thing. Every species, well, every mammal species, they do this. So it's possible. Jesus overcame death, consciously chose to give his life. Between mothers and Jesus, that's enough for me to know there's no challenge too big. There's no challenge too big. If they can do that, I can do this. I can speak to a camera. I can do 100 push-ups. I can give up all of my belongings and become a full-time nomad minimalist. So why don't we? Hopefully I've made a little bit of a case so far for consciously choosing challenge. Why don't we? Well, because it's hard, because we get afraid, right? Because it's painful, or it's painful. Is it painful? Or is it perceived pain? Is it pain or is it sensation? Is that the story we tell about it? One of my friends, famous yoga teacher, came and taught at my training in Bali many years ago. Great guy, one of the pioneers of Ashtanga Yoga Vinyasa, like accomplished amazing things, said in front of my trainees one time, it's a full-time job avoiding work. It's a full-time job avoiding work, right? And it was kind of a joke at the moment. When he said it though, I was in the midst of an incredible amount of work, like 20 hours a day. It was in our early days of our trainings. I was thinking, that's a strange concept. I remember it because when I was a kid, like I didn't want to do those things. And not just as a kid, I already told you a story about when I was in my 20s doing that. And I still have ways of doing it now. It's a full-time job avoiding work. Energy tax, avoidance tax. Another of my yoga teachers, friend, also famous pioneer in the yoga world, said something that really landed to me. This was early in my yoga obsessed days. Said, your practice should be the hardest thing you do every day. Right? And that was motivation to keep going, to go to the extra level in the yoga practice. And that's consciously choosing, that's creating fire into freedom, right? When we're not avoiding, then we get free. Yeah, I can do that, right? Handstand, headstand, put my foot behind my head. Well, I may not be able to do it now. I know that I can do that. He could do it. It's possible. It might be painful for a while, right? Putting on the way to it, or it might be sensation. Many years ago, in a remote village in Asia, there was a monastery miles and miles and miles out in a remote not suburban, rural, that's the word, rural area. So rural, in fact, was this monastery that in order to get there, take a train, and then once you get to the train station, the only way to get from there to the monastery was to walk. And it was like 2 miles. So an interesting event was coming. A visiting dignitary, Lama, high-level monk, was coming to visit the monastery. And so the monastery is getting everything ready. They're excited. They send 2 of the junior monks from the monastery to the train station to meet the Lama. And they walk together, the 3 of them, in their robes, all the way back to the monastery. As they get just toward the monastery, right on the outskirts of it, there is a word I think of as shanty town, right? Like a little kind of broken down slum-like area where buildings ramshackle. And right there was in one of the yards was a dog chained to like a stake, big chain around its collar, mean looking kind of Rottweiler dog. And the monks knew this dog because they've walked by it many times. And every time they walk by, what does a dog who's chained up do? Straining against the chain, trying to break free because we all crave freedom. So the 2 junior monks and the Lama, they're getting back there. They come to the last part of the walk, and they're walking, and they're just parallel to where the dog is, and the dog doing its usual thing, get those monks, with everybody, straining, barking, growling, and then it breaks the chain. Literally breaks the chain. I know we're talking about freedom. Literally breaks the chain and then suddenly starts running straight up. Think about all that momentum. And then suddenly it's free and it's like runs straight at. And the 2 junior monks are a little bit ahead of the Lama. All 3 of them grok, understand this, comprehend it suddenly at the same time. And what happens then? The 2 junior monks make a split-second decision coming from, I'll come back to that. What is this coming from? And the split-second decision is the dog is this far away, the gates to the monastery are that far away. If I run, I might make it. So they start running straight at the gates of the monastery. The Lama, his choice, instantly, he turns and runs straight at the dog. Straight at the dog. What does the dog do? Well, first gets really surprised. People don't usually act like that, especially those monks. And then just turns and walks the other way. So what was the instant decision? What was the energy of the 2 junior monks? Survival. Right? What did the Lama have going on that the junior monks didn't? He'd, to some degree, significant degree perhaps, overcome that survival energy, recognized the fear, and ran straight toward the dog. Right? And the dog was feeding off the fear, of course. Not intentionally, not bad, just animal nature, survival nature. And we're all part animal. We're also part spirit. So the point is when we bring the fire, it creates freedom. We bring the fire, it creates freedom. That monk charged the dog and the fear disappeared. Right? And that charging the dog is what we can do when we consciously choose challenge. And there's a couple levels with this, right? Because one, well, let's get back to the avoidance tax for a second. Because there's no challenge that we can avoid. We came to Earth School to learn certain lessons, and we're not getting out until we learn them. And they change form. It might be a dog, right? It might be a divorce, right? It might be a mugger. It might be bankruptcy. It might be physical health. Whatever it is, we're going to face challenges. There's no moving through life without challenges. We're going to get them. So one level is taking the challenges that come and embracing them. Okay, this is coming to me for a reason. This diagnosis, this breakup, whatever it is. Another level, though, even beyond that, if we grok this wisdom, is then to actually consciously create challenges. That's what the second yoga teacher I referred to was pointing to. It's like, from the outside, it looks absurd. Why would you consciously put yourself through pain? Because the universe responds differently. God, the universe, ourself, our being, right? Instead of being someone that's afraid, that's running away, we become someone that says, okay, stage one, challenge, no big deal. Okay, it's coming, let's go. Next level, the true freedom of saying, I seek out challenge. Why? Because of who I become. I become someone that is free. There's no challenge that you can't give me that's too big for me because I am infinite. There's a prayer. Actually, I don't even know where this one comes from anymore. Remember when I learned it specifically, though, and a prayer, oh, it almost came to me. It'll come back. Rather than pray that things go my way, rather than pray for an easy life, I pray, I think of this as the yogi's prayer, I pray for sufficient challenges that I live into my potential, that I become who I can be, who I'm here to be. All right, so the second key is freedom into fire, and that brings us to the third key, and this is the key that unlocks the whole shebang. Consciously choosing challenge, in this case, is the hero's choice, Hercules. And it's a really old story, yet it's so relevant for us now and only always. Because this is the dilemma, by the way, and why it's applicable to all of us, because the human animal part of us is always geared toward avoiding pain, avoiding challenge. I don't want to keep me away from that. It's just natural. There's nothing wrong with it. We are wired that way. That survival instinct has its place. It's useful. And we are human spirit. And the spirit part of us can overcome that. And this is what Hercules taught us. So Hercules, before he was the Hercules you know, as in that super strong dude of stories and movies, he was just a young lad, and he was out on a walk. And he's walking through the forest. And as he's walking through the forest on his own, following the path through the forest, suddenly two goddesses appear in front of him. Hey, good day for a young man. Two goddesses show up as he's walking through the forest. The first one steps forward in front of him and says, hey, Hercules, I got something for you. Now, she is, well, they're both beautiful in different ways. She's incredibly beautiful, seductive, a little glamorous, right? Maybe she's pausing to take a selfie, that kind of energy, like, wow, she just commands attention. And she says, Hercules, if you take what I have for you, you are going to have an easy life, a beautiful life. Everything's just going to be handed to you. You want it? And then the other goddess steps forward. And she's also really beautiful, though not in such a glamorous way. There's something about her that's subtle, that's ordinary in a sense, more ordinary in terms of appearance, like less bling, yet there's a mysterious substance to her. And she says, well, Hercules, if you take what I'm offering you, it's not going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be hard. In fact, there are going to be moments where you doubt that you can even handle it. You're going to suffer. It's going to be a lot of hard work. And the rewards will be phenomenal. You will live to the destiny that you are here for. You will be fulfilled. What'd he do? Well, of course, he said, all right, I'm with you. And he chose the hard path. Right? And that is what made him Hercules. And you and I, we probably don't get it that way. I don't know. I've never had goddesses appear like that out of nowhere. Though I know this morning, I'm in the midst of a challenge right now. And part of why I'm excited about this topic is because I've been consciously creating challenge in a new way in my own life lately. Right? A little over a year ago, I joined a business challenge with a mentor of mine named Myron Golden, 5-day challenge. And I grew so much. I learned so much. And it was challenging. It was difficult. I had less sleep. And for me, it was like I was in Hawaii. It was set on East Coast timing. I was getting up at like 3 a.m, do my own practices before the thing started at 5. It was challenging. And I grew. I learned. I drew new clients, created new clients. I made more money. Like all kinds of cool things happened. My business expanded. The biggest thing though is I grew as a person. I invited a friend of mine to join that challenge because I did it several times with mine. I invited a friend of mine, John, to join that challenge. He did. He also loved it. And then he launched his own 5-day challenge. And then he asked me if I would support him. I was like, it's a lot of time. That's more challenge. And I said, yeah, because I knew, one, I love John and knew that I would learn from him in the midst of it. And I knew that I would grow through the process. I am about to launch my own sort of version of that, the Stop Surviving, Start Thriving challenge. Stay tuned if you're with me live, or if it's by replay that you're watching this, check in the notes because it's probably alive now. And you might like to join us. You might love to stop surviving and start thriving. The Herculean choice is available to us all. It's not available to us. It's inevitable. It's there every day. Do I eat this or do I eat this? Do I go to the gym or sit on the sofa? Do I wake up a little bit earlier? Do I stay with a sentence in a book which is hard to read? I don't get it. Okay, go back to the beginning and read that again. Do we consciously create challenge for ourselves so that we can be more? And ultimately, y'all, like I just told you about some of the benefits I received from doing the challenge with Myron. And those are great. Even better though, we are here to love more, to reach into our potential to create a world where everybody is thriving. We are here to expand who we are, to become someone who is a contribution to a world of freedom, love, and vibrancy. And in some ways, it doesn't matter what the challenge is that we go toward. So my invitation to you is, where would you love to grow right now? Is it business? Is it money? Is it your physical health? Is it in relationships? I guarantee you this, there is a challenge available for you. It doesn't have to be a 5-day challenge. It doesn't have to be business oriented. There is some kind of challenge. And if you just say, yeah, you know what? I see a greater potential for myself in this part of my life, you can create your own challenge. I remember some years ago, I was like, I feel like my body's aging in a way that it doesn't need to be aging. I can reverse this. I can change it. I don't want to get, I'm not buying that model of more times around the sun means atrophy and weakness. No, I'm investing in a reality that as I go around the sun more times, as in accumulate more numbers of years, as a friend said, reaching a higher level, right? I'm at level 56 right now. I'm doing way better than I was when I was at level 36. That as I accumulate more years and experience and wisdom, I get stronger physically. I get stronger, I get wiser, I get happier. So I did for, gosh, I don't know, almost a year, 100 push-ups every day. And may or may not be the most effective use of this. My point, though, is you get to choose your challenge. There are many out there. You can create your own. I would love you to experience the truth of who you are. Infinite, amazing, miraculous. Y'all, thank you for being with me. Thank you for being interested in creating your life into a masterpiece. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Aloha.